Shields up, Ironbreakers. Welcome to the first episode of Monster Hunter Feature Concept. And you might be asking yourself, Rurikhan, why are you recording this outside instead of recording it from the comfort of your studio? And the reasoning is I purposely wanted to inconvenience myself because in a lot of ways that is what this feature, if it ever does get implemented, is going to do to a lot of people. It is going to be a bit of an inconvenience, but then again, it is also going to be optional, so you don't necessarily have to engage in it, but you guys know me. If you've seen my live streams, if you've seen my Monster Hunter content, you'll be aware of the fact that I enjoy a little bit of inconvenience when it comes to playing Monster Hunter. I think it is a crucial part of the experience, even though I understand a lot of people don't necessarily agree with me, and that, in a lot of ways, is the point of this video. It is to bring forth a concept and to basically present it to the community for discussion. So I'm hoping to see a lot of feedback from those of you that do play Monster Hunter, and even those of you that, maybe you've left the series and maybe you're considering coming back or whatever the reason might be. I just want to hear from you guys about what you think about this idea that I had. Now, today's feature concept, because I'm probably going to come up with a couple of more in future episodes, is the multi-staged hunt. Now, a multi-stage hunt, the name kind of already implies, is a hunt that has several stages. It's not something that you simply do and it gets resolved like a traditional hunt that you have nowadays. See, nowadays, you go onto a hunt, you hunt a monster, and then, you kill the monster, boom, done, and the hunt is over. You get its materials, you craft a funny hat. I'm about to swallow a fly if it keeps flying near me, but you guys get the point, right? The hunts, a lot of times, are one and done. Well, not necessarily one and done because you're expected to do the same hunt multiple times in order to grind for the different materials that you want. Well, this, for starters, a multi-staged hunt should be an optional hunt. So that's feature number one, because I understand that a lot of people are not going to want to engage with this particular feature. So it should be an optional hunt. Like maybe you have to do it once as a tutorial type of situation, like a more scripted multi-stage hunt, the same way that they introduce certain things into the game that they require to do at least once. In a lot of ways, the multi-staged hunt is already implemented, if I remember correctly, in Monster Hunter World when you have to go hunt the Pink Rathian. It is kind of like a multi-stage hunt, like you get a glimpse of her and then you have to go find tracks and all of that. It is that, but implemented as an interesting, in-depth gameplay mechanic. So they exist alongside regular quests. You'd need to come up with like a title for the type of monster because, this quest would spawn in your quest log. And the thing is, it is not something that's going to be static. So you'll be doing your regular hunting, you'll be doing your regular grinding, and then suddenly, boom, this thing just pops up in the quest board. Almost like an urgent quest, except it's not mandatory, right? You get like some NPC that gets a red exclamation marker that tells you, oh, this hunt is now available or whatever. And the title could be something like Cunning or Hardened or Enduring. So say you have a Cunning Rathalos, a Hardened Rathalos, or an Enduring Rathalos, whatever. You guys can probably come up with an even better one because I'm not too creative when it comes to names. So this quest would pop up randomly while you're just like doing your regular quest, and then you choose whether or not you want to engage in it with the knowledge that this is going to trigger this whole quest thing, the multi-staged hunt, right? So you engage on this quest and you go on a quest just like you would go on any other quest. You get your materials together. Number one, for this particular quest, there are no restocks. Okay? That's number one. Now, number two, you go on the quest and you fight the monster. Now, for me, like I said, I want this quest to be somewhat inconvenient, so I don't want this monster to go down easy. This should be about 20 minutes of hunting if you know what you're doing. Okay? If you know what you're doing, it should take you about 20 minutes to get through this hunt. If you don't know what you're doing, it should take you considerably longer, all the way up to 40 minutes. Listen, the timer says 50 minutes. I say we need to make use of that, okay? I want this quest to be hard. I want it to be challenging. And the thing is, when you are done with the first stage of the quest, the monster doesn't actually die. The monster is going to run away. I'm not exactly sure how this part would play out because I understand that it can be very frustrating for a monster to run away at the end of a quest. But effectively, there needs to be some kind of a mechanic in there that causes, okay, the quest is over, monster runs away. Now, you have put in about 20 minutes of your time, so naturally you're expected to be rewarded. I would say that this would give you the same rewards that you would get for like hunting one of these monsters, right? If you're fighting a Rathalos, you would get like the same rewards that you would get from a regular Rathalos, except maybe you could get like a special token for the fact that you're doing the hardened version of Rathalos or whatever, and maybe those could be used for special crafting materials. Maybe it's a super powerful, armor sphere or something like that allows you to get a bunch of levels on your armors. Maybe it's a special enchantment thing for your weapon. I don't know, but you would get like one special material on top of the regular materials that you would get for hunting a regular Rathalos. Now, once this happens, once the monster runs away, you get to the second stage of the whole thing. And so the second stage would be, now you have to track it down. Now, we're going to give you a couple of options. I thought that, maybe you can send Palicos to go track it down. Or maybe you don't even want to track it down. For whatever reason, you don't feel like tracking it down. You want to go back to doing your regular quests. That's fine. The duration of this would be somewhere between 5 or 8 quests. That means that this monster's presence will now be felt for the next 5 or 8 quests that you do. Now, this doesn't mean that it is going to interrupt your quests all the time or anything like that, but there would be a chance that he would actually invade any of the quests that you go on from now on. Because let's say, because this monster feels threatened by you, this is a very powerful monster, he now feels threatened by you, so he is also tracking you down just as you're tracking him down. So at any point in time, you could be fighting, say, a Puke, and this hardened Rathalos that you fought before swoops in. And he has the same markings, like, say, for instance, you broke one of his claws, or you busted up his face, or you chopped up his tail, right? He has the same markings of battle that he had from when he fought you. So he shows up, and he can interrupt your hunts. Now, at this point, you can kill him. Once he invades you during a regular hunt, you can choose to kill him, but it needs to be extremely hard. Like, he's going to be very much on the defensive. He's going to swoop in when you're fighting another monster. He's basically going to be trying to harass you. And the moment that, he sees that you're fully focused on him, he runs away. And then he comes back and he annoys, kind of like Basilgoose. If you guys remember when Basilgoose first invades you, he kind of used to do that. At least he did to me. He would show up out of nowhere, just piss the ever-living crap out of me. And it was one of my most memorable moments from Monster Hunter World, right? He would show up and just annoy you and be an overall nuisance. And this is one of the reasons why I want to make it perfectly clear. I want this feature to be optional because I know that a lot of people did not enjoy when Basilgoose would show up to basically harass the crap out of him, right? So he would show up and he would constantly just peck at you and then run away and then peck at you and run away. And you can eventually kill him in this quest, but you need to really dedicate yourself to beating the crap out of him because he's going to be extremely hard. And at the end of it, he can still run away. So for the next 5 or 8 quests, after you fought him once, there's a chance of him invading your other quests. He essentially becomes an invading monster, okay? If you damage him during these events, this damage, not the HP value, but like the damage of like on his face or on his tail or whatever, all of that carries over into the next stage. Now, like I said, you can track him down using the Palicos, and let's say if you have, you spend a couple of guild points or whatever, and the Palicos would take like 2 to 3 quests to hunt them down. On the other hand, if you want to, you can also go and you can track him yourself. And this would basically be the same thing that you would have done in, whenever you're tracking Pink Wrath and you're going to look for footprints, you're going to look for, potentially even look for his prey, right? Imagine that you find like a mangled monster and you're like, oh, this monster might have been mangled by the Rathalos that I was fighting, and you kind of like investigate a little bit. Maybe another monster swoops in because it wants to eat the little scraps and whatnot. But basically, you would do a one hunt thing where you would be tracking the monster. If you do that, you instantly get the location for the next step of the quest. If not, you have the Palico search for him, and that might take 2 to 3 quests, or they might fail. But you can have them do it passively, and during those 2 to 3 quests or whatever, he can still invade you while you're doing your other quests. So a couple of options here, a couple of different scenarios that can actually happen, right? Anyway, you can then, once you actually locate him, you can go and you can fight him again. Now, this time, there is the possibility of you killing him, depending on how much HP you rolled and whatnot, because some of these things are variable in Monster Hunter games, right? So you can actually kill him on the second time that you encounter him, depending on how good you are. If, however, you're not good enough, or for whatever reason the monster was able to get the upper hand on you, he might run away one final time. Again, you get rewards, you get the extra token that is special for the fact that you're fighting this harder version of the monster. He then might run away, right? Or you can kill him. If you kill him, the rewards are going to be greatly increased. You're going to get, like, say, for instance, chances for mental should be like 90%, and you should get like the potential to get 2 or maybe even 3 of them, maybe even 4. Okay? It should be ridiculous rewards because, you're taking on a multi-staged hunt. You're not just repeating the same hunt over and over and over again. So you should be getting more rewards. It should reduce the level of RNG for getting some of the rarer materials. Maybe they can even have modifiers on these quests. It would be like, hey, this one is 80% chance to get a plate. This one's 80% chance to get a mantle or a ruby or whatever other material that you want, right? These can roll. Kind of like investigations, right? These would roll like investigations almost. And so, if he runs away, you would, repeat the process where he can invade you for like 2 or 3 more quests. You can send the palicos to track him down again, or you can go and you can track him down again. And on the third one, you definitely have to kill him. If you don't kill him on the third one, he leaves, never comes back. And then you get a chance to do that again with another monster in the future, whatever, depending on how he rolls, all of that stuff. But that would be the concept of a multi-staged hunt. And it's just something that really excites me. Like, just thinking about the prospect of not just you hunting the monster, but the monster also hunting you. It develops this rivalry. Because right now, I feel like the way that we play Rise, at least, monsters are very much kind of like discarded in a way. So you jump in there, you beat the crap out of the monster, and then you repeat the process. It doesn't feel threatening anymore like it used to back in the day. That's also, a lot of that also has to do with player skill. I understand that because, the more you play monster hunter games, the more skilled you become, so monsters become less and less threatening. But at the same time, I want them to feel threatening. I want there to be a back and forth between the hunter and the monster. And it's just an idea that I'm very passionate about. Like, I really like this idea, but I'm super curious if maybe it's just me, hey, you're thinking about this thing. Nobody actually cares, okay? It's a bad idea, and you should feel bad for even thinking about it. Just let me know in the comment section if that's how you feel, if this is something that you would like to see. And, if you have your own ideas, feel free to throw them in the comment section, and maybe I'll feature them in my own, in another episode. But anyways, I just wanted to put this out there. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon, all that jazz. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.